Hello YouTube. I wanted to show you guys my survival belt, I'm going hiking, drop in my backpack and still have what I need when I venture away from camp. Some people call it like a survival belt or something along those lines. Forgive my video, I am no expert and I am not a very good editor, so there won't be any cuts and stuff. Anyway, we'll get right into it. Here I have my Tomahawk. This is a cold steel modified Tomahawk, and there's lots of videos on YouTube on how to modify that yourself. And I had a custom leather sheath made for it because my leather skills aren't that great. But it just hangs on the belt with a O-ring kind of an idea. And it just hangs freely, and it's nice and light. Prefer that to a hatchet because you still have some swing, and prefer that to an axe just because it's lighter. So there's that. On this side, you will see my Condor Eco Parang. This little baby, and this is a custom sheath by Welke, or I think that's how he says his name. PREPAREDMIND 101 gets him to make sheaths for him. I do as well because his work is outstanding. You'll notice I'm left-handed, so this would be a different arrangement for you. But anyway, this is my Eco Parang. It's more or less not really that modified. I've sharpened it, and I attached a hand grip and sorry, just worked a long day. Lanyard and some grip tape, camo, just to hide the orange a little bit and give me a little bit of purchase on that. So that's that baby, and this is on a this sheath is a dangler, which allows me. I just got it in the mail today. Actually, allows me to have it dangle freely, which is nice if you're moving around and stuff. It's got a leg lanyard on there that I put on with Paracord, and it has a fire steel which I have attached to it. That fire steel works on the back of this Condor Eco Parang very well. Very happy with that. Yeah, and then you can see the dangler there. It just freely kind of dangles on the belt. So, the rig itself, I got a Blackhawk inner. I hope I'm keeping this in frame. The inner is a Blackhawk something or other, and it's very comfortable. It's got like a memory foam or something inside it. Shoulder pads are like your typical U.S. Army load-bearing shoulder pads, and I put those on there. They work very well to help support the load. Not that it's that heavy, but it is a little bit on the weighty side, for me anyway, and I like having the shoulder straps. I did, you'll notice, put Gorilla Tape on each of the connection points to keep the rattling down of the metal on the rings. So anyway, on this kit, aside, I'll take that knife off of there, or the Condor Eco Parang off, so that you guys can actually see what we're getting down to here. Yeah, so that's the Welke sheath and the Condor Eco Parang. Fits in like a glove dangler. You can see that. Very nice unit. Talk about that. Inside here, I'm not going to take it out, but right in here is a bow saw blade, and it pretty much stretches around the length of the inner, between the outer belt and the inner belt, and it's attached in there in multiple points so it doesn't come loose. And what I've done is put it inside some tubular webbing. This is a combination of things I learned from YouTube. Essentially, I learned how to make my own improvised bow saw from the CORPRALS Corner. Very excellent videos he makes. If you're interested, you can learn too. And from a Canadian old Canadian woodsman, Coors something or other. One of his videos I learned that you could put inside of tubular webbing. This is webbing similar to what a rock climber would use. I don't know if you can see the blue inside of there, but that webbing is what rock climbers use. And a bow saw blade fits perfectly inside that, and you just melt one end and kind of leave the other end open. And I put also black Gorilla Tape along the blades so that it doesn't catch, so it slides freely in and out. So that's another thing you have to do with that, I found anyway. Okay, so next, first off, of course, you've seen lots of videos on YouTube about your 510 type water things, and we'll go through real quick and show you what's in here. Right on the side I have not a load-bearing beaner, but an extra beaner attached with an S-hook. I hope I'm in frame. Yep. Attached with an S-hook I have one of these fish mouth spreaders, which work great for capturing your jug, your container. In this case, I'll talk about that in a second. But in here I have a small fire kit consisting of everything from mano paper to a pencil sharpener to collect shavings quickly and easily, a fire steel, an extra one, some waterproof matches, a small lighter with inner tube Ranger band around it, wet fire, a mano paper, and these little fire guys. I think they're from a company called Sol, S-O-L, Firelight, they call them. I find they work really well, and they're very compact, so I like to carry some of those on me too. Sort of a bigger fire steel. I like to have multiple ways of starting fire always, and an extra little striker that came with that pack you just saw. Oh, and a tiny little fire steel I put in there too. So anyway, it's a fairly extensive little fire kit. No natural tinder in there, of course, yet, but hopefully we'll go out and find some of that orange-colored wood. Holy shit! I've been working too much. My brain's not working. Resin-soaked wood. It's got a great name. Anyway, that's the fire kit. Talking a lot. Some tea bags, just in case I get thirsty and want to make some tea. A wet one for cleaning yourself up. Some another wet one. Some tin foil to, make a windscreen or cover a fish. Foldable fork. This is from Snow Peak. Titanium, Japan. Yeah, Snow Peak. So there's that. A pen. This happens to be a, holy crap, really good pen that the astronauts use. Fisher Space Pen. There we go. Holy, sorry guys. My apologies. This is a little 5-hour energy bottle. I took off the labels. Inside it I put some Q-tips and some extra batteries for my flashlight, AAA. WAWHIKER does an excellent video on making your own lantern with these. So essentially you take your Phoenix E12, I think they call it. It's a little AAA flashlight. Put it inside this and you have an awesome lantern for inside your tent or your hammock, in my case. Some foot balm, Badger. This stuff, just I thought in case my feet get agitated, maybe at night I could put that shit on my feet. I don't know why it's in that portion. That's kind of weird, the food section or whatever. But anyway, in here, let's see. This pouch is made by One Tigress or something. I liked it because it had the Molly on the back. Here I have there's the flashlight. So essentially, Phoenix LD02. LD1 or 2, I believe, works, but it fits. It doesn't work as good with everything inside it, but I'll show you. there it is inside, and you can get the idea. It lights up pretty good, even with stuff in there. I've got cotton and shit just to hold the batteries straight, but neat little lantern. Do it yourself. Thanks to WAWHIKER, another great group of videos that he makes. And there's my little tiny flashlight. I've got it attached so I don't lose it. Big, large Optimist titanium spoon for reaching into those dehydrated food bags. This was a modification I learned on YouTube as well for my Nalgene Gaia design bottle. This happens to be tough to find these days, actually, but Amazon has them again, and I ordered one or two, and there it is. The reason these are good is because they have this ridge here, and this ridge allows you to attach wire, in this case, and make your own baling wire, your own way to hang it over a fire, basically. And so that's on there. It's adjustable and removable if you need to. So there's that. Also inside here, these are always tough to get out, but well, I'll tell you what. It's one of those titanium mugs that fits inside the Nalgene perfectly, nesting cup. It's made of titanium, so it's lighter. I don't want to pull it out, and it has a lid. It has a baling thing on it as well. Moving right along, we have the big butt pouch it's called. Did I talk about this? So just a camo bandana, just to clean up or whatever, filter water through. There's a guy on YouTube, Wilderness Innovation poncho. This poncho can be used as a tarp, as a poncho, as a hammock chair, as a hammock itself. So yeah, that's why I bought one. It's fairly light. It's a little heavier than some ponchos, but it's camo, and it seems like it's very good construction. I can't wait to get out in the woods and make a chair or hammock with it. That's in there. A green heavy-duty emergency blanket by SOL. You might notice a theme. I really like that company. I like their products anyway. That's in there as well. It's OD green colored one. I found that one and had to get it. I don't like the bright orange stuff. Oh, speaking of camp chairs, I like comfort when I'm out in the woods. So this is the amazing Wilderness camp chair made by Jeep, a fellow Canadian who makes these. And again, same idea. You're suspending yourself off the ground with these fabric pieces that allow you to do that, and you're using some paracord and 3 or 4 sticks or whatever it is to make it. So that's kind of neat. Wrapped inside of this big old industrial garbage bag, because everybody should carry one of those with them, even if it's just for empty beer cans or for shelter stuff. This is just a little ditty bag. Inside this mesh bag I have some Gorilla Tape to redo my saw blade today when I'm done. Some bank line, because I need that for any variety of things in the wilderness, making the improvised bow saw being one of them. Some water purification tablets. That should probably go in my food or my 510 holder. Some earplugs, because sometimes birds and shit can really bug you when you're trying to sleep. Those are those little key split ring things, and that's so I can also make that improvised bow saw. And then I have some zap straps in there, just various sizes. So there's that. Some paracord. This happens to be the fire cord with the one red strand that's flammable inside it. Typical paracord, just with your extra strand of You'll notice a fire theme. I really like to have the ability to make fire easily. Some more paracord beige. Oh, another strand of paracord OD green. Didn't melt that in. That's very strange of me. Oh, and Silky Pocket Boy. Now, I own the Gnome Boy as well. I just haven't been able to find it lately. And I was thinking I might replace this little guy, little silky saw with that because it's a little longer. But in thinking about it, it's better to go light, in my opinion. And I'm going lighter with the Pocket Boy because it's so small. And not only that, but I do have the ability to make the bow saw, improvised bow saw, thanks to Corporal's Corner. So I can always use that if I need to cut bigger stuff. And you know, his video, he whipped that thing up pretty quick. I think I could do it too. I've watched the video a lot. I'll get out in the field and practice soon. This is a little Adventure Medical Kit, Medical Kit 3. And I've added a few things to this just to get it a little more beefed up. Well, there's a Tops, from a Tops knife I own. Oh, more of these wet wipes. Redundancy. Some Tylenol and ibuprofen and extra tape and a few other things I've added in there just to sort of round out with a kit that they had. They did have a nice kit. I just added a few things to it to sort of make it a little more interesting and functional, but it's still a small package and weighs very little for a micro. And that's everything in the butt pack. Blah blah blah. Next is this little pouch here. In this pouch I have a pair of leather mechanic work gloves, because you know it's good to protect your hands. A small knife. This is a Essie Azula with the micarta handle scales. Very nice knife, and the way I've rigged this with bank line is I can attach it to my belt on the horizon. Yeah, anyway, I can attach it on my belt horizontally. And this is a sharpening thing. It is made by Smith's sharpener. It's got the diamond rod and then a fine and a coarse pull through. Probably doesn't do the best job, but in the field, probably all I need, I'm hoping. And a small P38 or P52, whatever they call them, can opener on an S-beaner. A Right in the Rain type notepad, although this one is not Right in the Rain, UST again. Survive outdoors longer or whatever. And to that I have taped a small pencil. I think it came with it, just so it's there and handy. This is neat. It has a checklist of drinking water, extra food, fire starters, shelter, basically everything, your basics. So that's kind of neat checklist. I hope I followed it. I think you'll be able to tell me if there's anything I forgot. This is a Bushcraft. My camera's flopping around. Sorry guys, I'm not a professional. I work in film, I'm just not a professional film maker. This is the Bushcraft Essentials stove. You know, you've probably seen videos. There's probably lots of good videos on it. It's fairly small and folds up pretty small, smooth, thin, so it fits in there surprisingly. And that's my way of heating up some water or cooking some food with this little kit. In my backpack, in my camping backpack, and I'll talk about that briefly, I have been working for a couple years to try and make a backpack that is light and as light as possible, and it has been a battle, more or less, but I have got it down to an acceptable weight. Some of the things I carry in that backpack are a Trangia stove, a MSR pocket rocket with a small canister of fuel, a bunch of dehydrated food and stuff, a hammock. It happens to be a Grand Trunk Skeeter Beater hammock, and a sil nylon tarp, and sleeping bag, and some clothing, and a few other small pocket pen, fishing rod, and reel, and a small bit of lures and fishing gear. Water purification. I use the Sawyer mini water filter. That mini water filter is set up in a gravity-fed system that I can use using the 2-liter Platypus Easy Zip bags. And so that's some of the stuff I carry in my backpack. This is for, say I drop my pack at camp and I just want to venture out into the woods for a while. It'll give me shelter, it'll give me a seat to sit on, it'll give me water to purify, boil, and cook with. Just a little kit that I can drop everything and head out. And another flashlight, because hey, isn't redundancy good with flashlights? And I always unscrew them so that they don't light up. This is another Phoenix. Big fan of Phoenix. Really like them. This is the Phoenix LD09, and I really like flashlights. In fact, aside from this E12 flashlight that I showed you, or E02 or whatever they call it, every flashlight I own is AA. So this is the only exception, is the AAA smaller one. And the reason I got the AAA is simply so I can make the lantern with this thing. And that's the reason for that. And then I have sort of a more powerful one. And in my bag I have a headlamp as well. So that's 3 different lighting options for out in the field, which I think is good. And a small signal mirror, also made by SOL, and it's incredibly light. Comes in a lot of their little survival kits. And signal mirror. Yep. And that's the total amount of the belt system, of the survival belt. Sorry, let me adjust this tripod a little bit there. It's better. So anyway, that's the bulk of the system, and when it's empty, it's very light. When it's loaded and on, you really don't feel much weight at all. It's very nice. The only problem I'm having is with my backpack full of gear that I would probably opt to leave at camp once I hiked in. It kind of tends to rest on this stuff and push down on it, and I'm trying to find a backpack that is lower down the back so it won't ride as low and rest on top of my butt pack. I'm sure there's some options out there. I've seen a few, but if anybody has any ideas, let me know. My criteria is that they be light and preferably green, because I'll stick with the theme, or camel, so it'll ride up above and not. Am I in picture? Yeah. It'll not bounce off this, but ride up higher on the back so it doesn't interfere with my belt, because ideally I'd be wearing this under my backpack. Backpack comes off, I still have this on. All my tools are there, and wood processing, and pretty heavy on the wood processing. I have a saw, a bow saw, a folding saw, a bow saw, a folding saw, a tomahawk, and a pretty hefty blade. So I should have no problem with any kind of wood processing. Extra strapping, I just folded it over on itself and used some of that wonderful Gorilla Tape to finish it off. So there's the belt. I made that based on, essentially got the idea again from YouTube and from Corporal's Corner. So Oh, and I always got to thank PREPAREDMIND, because PREPAREDMIND 101 has been the single most reason I spend money. Helped me to make some decisions on gear and stuff in the past, and his input is always useful to me. But if it wasn't for YouTube and all of the great videos on it, I don't know that I could have put such a great kit together or even had the idea to do it. So I guess a lot of guys might use this in like a battle belt kind of a scenario, since we're in Canada and can't take pistols into the woods. It's kind of useless unless I go with something else like a rifle or a shotgun, which I would probably have if I was camping, but I'm not sure I would have if I was hiking. I would love to put a sidearm, a pistol, firearm on this belt. I think it would be an excellent idea. I'm kind of envious of all my American neighbors when they go deep into the woods. They always have their pistol with them, and I would like to do that too. However, I live in Canada and we have stupid gun laws, and we may not be the freest people in the world after all. So, that's the kit. I hope you liked it. I hope it gave you some ideas. I know there's a bunch of them out there, and I've taken a lot from a lot of videos I've seen. Thank you again, and please like and comment. I love feedback. I love to hear what you guys think and any changes that you could think of, and thanks a lot.